Welcome, friends and fans, to another edition of GalaxyCon Live, where we are bringing the convention experience directly to you. And today, we are going from the village of Glenfinnan on Loch Shiel to the deepest jungles of Africa to the fighting arenas of Outworld and more with today's amazing guest. And now is the time for all of you in our chat room to begin typing in your questions for him. Immediately after this session, you will have the opportunity to talk to him directly through our private chat options, as well as shop our selection of personalized autographs, all of which are available now at GalaxyCon.com. So without further ado, let us call for the gathering and bring him out. Our guest today is an actor, novelist, and producer whose body of work includes Subway, Greystoke, The Legend of Tarzan, Lord of the Apes, Mortal Kombat, and of course the Highlander franchise. Today he joins us to discuss these iconic roles and so much more. Please welcome Mr. Christopher Lambert.
Hello.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Very good.
Oh, so glad to have you here. Welcome to the GalaxyCon virtual stage. Our team
Thank you.
now. Oh, it's our pleasure. Our team is going through our chat room right now to pull out the questions for us. In the meantime, I'd love to just start this conversation off with what drew you to becoming an actor?
I wanted to become an actor since I was 12. We did a play with some members of my family during a boring summer. And I loved the applause at the end.
Yeah.
And because for the first time in my life, I had the feeling I was doing something good. So I just thought, I want to have that feeling again. So I want to become an actor.
Nice. Did you? Again, you're multilingual. Did you decide I'm going to be a French-speaking actor? I'm going to be an English-speaking actor, or are you just going to let the path sort of decide it?
No, I always wanted to be a quote international actor. So to have the ability to do some movie in French, some movie in English. Don't forget also that most movies, when they travel, except American movies, but even American movies, are translated in the language of the country.
Oh, yes.
So I've heard myself in Chinese, in Japanese, in German, in Slovakian, so.
Yeah, it's very interesting the way in other markets, usually if they can, they always try to keep the same actor to do the translation of that other actor.
Absolutely.
I know there's a guy in Japan who was Jack Nicholson's Japanese voice for several decades and things like that.
Yes, and I met my Italian voice.
Really?
And he's the opposite of what I am. He's a big guy. He is, without being mean, he's got a few pounds too many. And but he's got the same voice, the same rough voice.
Yeah. Yeah, he translates your character and your mannerisms well.
Yeah, and he's a great actor.
Oh, outstanding! Absolutely is. He is. And speaking of great acting, you certainly hit the ground running. Subway, of course, absolute classic. And I believe Subway was what led to Greystoke. Does I understand that correctly?
No, Greystoke led to a French movie called Words and Music that led to Subway, that led to Highlander.
Yeah.
That led to the Sicilian, that led to 90 movies plus.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if we can, go back to Greystoke. Still, the movie still holds up incredibly well. Rick Baker's effects on the ape prosthetics, a tremendous cast, and of course yourself having to give an interpretation of Tarzan, which no one had ever seen before, and like I think I'm pretty sure we can say we have not seen since. An attempt to really postulate the question of what would this man be raised in this environment? What would he really be like?
I think when you're raised by animals, you just have to be what you are. You cannot pretend to be somebody else. You cannot you just have to adapt to the background and accept the rules of that background.
Yeah.
There is nothing fake in nature.
True. Very so. Very, very, very much so. And so, yeah, Greystoke took over that. What was it like working with Ralph Richardson? I was always a huge fan of his.
Oh, it was incredible. It was incredible. And he was incredibly nice.
Yeah.
And he was a great gentleman, of a great example of humility, and he was somebody who was not pretentious. He was somebody who was not pretending to be somebody else.
Yeah.
He was just himself, and he was very generous.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, I revisited the film a few months ago, and it still absolutely literally holds up. And
thank you.
And a tremendous performance on your part, truly.
Thank you.
Truly, very much so. And yes, like you said, that led to other roles. Subway, Luc Besson, another great one. And then, of course, we can't have you here and not talk about your association with this gentleman.
Yes.
So how did Mr. Nash, a.k.a. Connor MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod, born on Loch Shiel, evolve for you?
It was interesting because I accepted the part of Connor MacLeod because of the romantic side of immortality, not because it was an action movie. And immortality fascinates everybody. I mean, if you're talking about Dracula, if you're talking about Highlander, what attracted me to the part was the romantic side of that character. Who wants to live forever?
Yeah.
And what is the burden of having to live forever?
Yes, very much so. And that speaks to, I think, is the hidden strength of the original Highlander film is, yes, that romanticism, that sadness of losing his first love, losing his second love, and then icing it out throughout it and finding it at the end with his humanity. That's, I mean, I love the swordplay, I love everything else, but that's kind of half the equation.
Yeah, no, but it's an action movie, it's a science fiction movie, but what attracted me was the romantic side of the movie.
Yes. How did you feel? Because Russell McKay, of course, he'd done music videos and stuff, and again, his editing and his shooting of that film. What was it like when you finally saw the final completed version of Highlander with the Queen soundtrack?
It was a shock because, first of all, Queen was only meant to do the opening credit.
Mm-hmm.
They were meant to do one tune.
Yeah.
And then Freddie Mercury saw the movie and got out of the theater and said to his band, guys, we're doing the whole album. And they did the whole album in 4 weeks.
Wow.
And so they got really they had a lot of inspiration, and it's one of the biggest seller album of their career.
Easily.
And meeting him during the video, that the couple of videos that we did together,
Yeah.
was incredible. With a private Queen concert for 15 people for 48 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I do remember the first video. And again, you just sort of walk on stage, and then you're in character, and Freddie's doing his thing, and yeah. And again, I think that's the third strength of the film is absolutely the Queen soundtrack.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
For sure. I think the movie would have become a classic, an iconic movie,
Yeah.
no matter what. But to have Queen doing the music was a huge addition,
Yeah.
to the fact that this movie became a cult movie.
Yeah. Yeah, very much so. And it's I would be quite excoriated if I didn't ask you, of course, about your late co-star, Mr. Sean Connery, and that experience with him, because it looked like he was really having the time of his life with that role.
Yeah, and also we had a very simple relationship, because he was a very humble man. He was very imposing. His presence, his body, he was a big man.
Yeah.
He was imposing, but he was charming. He was somebody was lovable.
Yeah, I believe it.
And we had a great relationship. Great.
Absolutely. And again, his character's return along with yours are my favorite parts of the sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely worked. And flipping ahead, because it's in the thing again, of course, you did great work. So that I mentioned earlier, the Sicilian, again, another fantastic performance in that. And that was started getting a little bit of a departure. You were able to push more into dramatic roles.
Yes. My career so far has been a combination of drama, some French comedy, some thrillers, and some pure action movies.
Yeah. Speaking of thrillers, another film I think doesn't get the credit it deserves is Night Moves. I found that to be a very engaging mystery.
Yes, it's I agree with you.
Yeah, and if anybody audience wants to see it, please check it out. Mr. Lambert plays a chess master involved with a murder mystery. And when do you think you got you figured out the murderer? No, you were wrong.
No, exactly. No, it's a movie that drives you from left to right, and you never know what's going to happen next.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And of course, one of your other roles later on, another huge cult following, the first Mortal Kombat film, in the role of Raiden, God of Thunder.
Yes.
A film that has another huge following. I myself count among them too, and that one actually eclipsed my expectations. I thought, okay, a video game movie, and I played the video game. I walked into it. All right, this is going to be, and I was like, this is way better than I ever expected it to be. I mean, yourself and the rest of the cast, and as a straight adventure, the film still holds up tremendously well today.
The first one was great. I turned down the second one because I didn't like the script.
And if that was the same,
I didn't have that choice on Highlander 2. I was signed in stone to do number 2, but I was straight with the audience. Means I told them, if you expect the sequel to Highlander 1, don't go and see the movie. And the producer were like looking at me saying, are you fucking crazy? You can't say that. I said, no, I'm not going to lie to the audience. If it wasn't the sequel to Highlander, it's a good movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the real sequel to Highlander is number 3.
Yes. Yes, I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. And it's and the thing is, and if everybody's watching it right now and your favorite is Highlander 2, more power to you, brothers and sisters. You know, like I said, everybody comes to this their own thing. I prefer the original myself, and I leave it at that.
But the thing is, you cannot say that Highlander 2 is a bad movie. The thing is that it shouldn't have been called Highlander. That's all.
Yeah. Warriors of Zeist.
Yes, I mean, who invented that planet Zeist?
Yeah.
And who invented the fact that you have to explain who we, the immortals, are coming from? Who cares?
Yeah.
You establish that we're immortals. End of story.
And again, the odd thing is that Connor asked that question of Ramirez, and he's just like, what are stars just hold the night side? Who knows? You know, he's
exactly.
This is what we are, kid, and this is the road we're on. You know.
Exactly.
And in defense of Highlander 2, you got to work with Michael Ironside, another one of my favorite actors. So yeah, I enjoyed seeing you guys square up against each other.
Yeah, and I was lucky enough to rework with Sean Connery.
Yes. So there are worthy moments in the film.
There are always positive things out of not bad, but different things.
Absolutely. And one more film I like to switch on, then we'll go to audience questions. Again, I think it's undervalued out of your repertoire. Gideon, a very sweet film with a tremendously huge cast: Charlton Heston, Carol O'Connor, Barbara Bain, and it's a very unique film in that no guns, no action, just a very sweet human story.
So Gideon is a story that I had the idea, and I hired the writer Brad Merman to write the script, explaining to him what I wanted in the story. And I agree with you. The script got super ratings, super. 5 stars all the way, and didn't pick up.
Yeah,
it happens.
Yeah, that's showbiz, as you certainly know.
Yes,
but it is out there. It is available for people to enjoy. And if anybody's watching this, I absolutely encourage you to seek it out, as well as so many other films of yours and television appearances we can go into. But we'll save that for next time you join us. I think we're good to go. Let's go ahead and switch over to our audience questions. I want to give them an opportunity to ask stuff of theirs. And here's one from John, who wants to know, did they modify the trench coat in Highlander so that the sword could easily be carried within it?
No, they didn't. We just find like movie ways to hide the sword and for me to take it out of the coat. So we didn't modify the trench coat.
Well, I said I wasn't going to do this, but I can attest to that because I've actually cosplayed as the Highlander, and I could not get the sword to hide in my thing to save my life. So I had to carry it around the whole time.
So you see.
So absolutely. John, thank you. Very fun question to start us off with.
Thank you, John.
What do we have next? From Mark. Straight up, what is your favorite movie role you've done so far? Or maybe one of your favorites.
I don't have a favorite movie role because you invest yourself so much into the movie you're doing that it's always passionate. It's always, you put your life on the line, even though it's not physically, it's mentally. And so I can't say I have a favorite movie role. If I'm completely straight, it's not the favorite, but it's the most important movie role is Greystoke, because it was the start of everything.
Sure. Absolutely fair. Mark, thank you. Great question.
Thank you, Mark.
Here's one from Jerry. Oh, kind of a follow-up. What do you feel?
Jerry.
Jerry wants to know, what do you feel is your best work to date?
My best involvement and my best work, not as a film work, as the physical work I had to do for Greystoke was incredible.
Yeah.
I'd work 6 months, 9 hours a day to put 8 stone to my body to be fit for the part. So
Wow.
I'm not saying it's my best role. I'm just saying it's my best physical achievement.
8 stone, that is a lot in Western pounds, folks, and I'll leave it at that.
In 6 months, yeah.
That is a lot, and it showed, and again necessitated by that story, but it was absolutely worth it. It's absolutely worth it. Jerry, fun question. Thank you so much. And here's one from Kelly, and they want to know what was your inspiration growing up?
It's a good question. It's a trick question.
Yeah.
My inspiration growing up was to have fun, was to badly behave, and understanding very early that school was boring. I'm sorry if you have kids. School is less boring today. And I just decided to make school fun is to have fun. So to just everything at the time was so serious that the only way you could survive school was to just disturb school, change school.
Sure.
And talking about changing school, I did 6 schools I started school at like 3, 4. In 14 years, I did 6 schools.
Well, your family traveled quite a bit, as I understand it.
No, they traveled. I didn't.
Oh, okay. Absolutely fair. So you spent a fair amount of time at headmaster's offices, huh?
Yeah.
Fair. Kelly, thank you. Very fun question.
Thanks, Kelly.
And here's one from AJ. AJ wants to know, what's the best bit of acting advice you've ever received?
I received it from a French actor that is very famous called Michel Bouquet, who just said, don't pretend to be somebody else. Be somebody else. Yeah. Don't pretend.
Yeah.
Be yourself through a character. Don't act, just be.
Yeah. Very good advice. Very good advice for anyone. AJ, thank you. Great question. Here's one from Danielle and Art. And they would like to know, what is something you're passionate about right now?
Paintings.
Yeah?
Music, piano, Formula One, tennis, boats, and planes.
There you go. When you say boats and planes, is that just as a passenger, or do you like to be, in the pilot's seat or behind the tiller?
No, there was nothing more boring than to be in the pilot seat.
Yeah.
Because everything is automatic.
True.
So, no, as a passenger, and the same for a boat, which anyway, I wouldn't be able to maneuver.
Okay. All right, there you go. So, art and travel, very nice. Danielle and Art, thank you. Fine question. And here's one from Steve. Wants to know, what was working in Scotland like for you?
In what?
In Scotland.
I go back to Scotland quite often because I think the landscape is so dramatic, is so beautiful. The people are, what you see is what you get. They don't pretend, again, to be or to try to be somebody else. They are what they are. And so I love Scotland. I go back to Scotland. I'm going to film in Scotland in a few days. And I'm very happy. It's my type of country. Scotland, Ireland, Australia. People who are just what they are. They don't pretend to be somebody else.
Sure. Very nice. Honesty is always nice. Steve, thank you. Wonderful question. And here's one from Erica, and they want to know, what is your dream role?
What is my dream role? I would have loved, but it's been done now twice. I would have loved to play Jesus.
Oh.
At that age. I would have loved, now it's too late. I would have loved, but I did in Gideon to play, but I would replay a mentally retarded character.
Mm-hmm.
That's my dream.
Yeah, someone else with mental challenges,
like in Gideon, or a character like in Rain Man.
Yeah, so, someone with mental challenges, and which of course have a bevy of acting challenges, which can go in all sorts of interesting directions.
That would be my dream part.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to see. I'd love to see that in other tapes. But Erica, thank you. Very fine question. And what do we have next? Oh, here's one from Lisa, who comes to a lot of our shows, is a dear fan of ours. She wants to know, how has the Highlander series affected your career?
The movie series or the TV series?
Just being the linchpin and the cornerstone of all of it.
When Highlander became a cult movie that is now going on for 30 plus years, yeah, it changed your lives, because I've got fans who are 12 years old today. And I've got fans who are 60 years old. So I would say it's the cultiest movie that I've made.
I would say that absolutely fair, and yeah, it is. It's always a delight to meet another Highlander fan, and we certainly have plenty in our audience. And yeah, we always want more.
Me too.
Lisa, thank you. Great question as always. And what we have next? Here's one from Christy. Oh, she wants to know, what is your all-time favorite TV show or movie?
I've got my all-time favorite TV show is The Office.
The American or British version, or both?
Both. They're great. They're great. My favorite movie is probably Once Upon a Time in the West by Sergio Leone. Yeah, it was a visual shock when I was 12 years old, and it was a visual shock, like somebody could do some extreme close-up, some incredible camera moves. And it was the first time I was seeing that Sergio Leone reinvented the movie business in 1969 with Once Upon a Time in the West.
Yes.
And gave birth to Spielberg, to Tony Scott, to people like that.
Very much so. Very, very much so. Yeah, that's a very, very, very fine choice. And Christy, thank you. A very fine question. And a reminder to our audience, if you'd like to chat with our guests like I am now, or purchase a personalized autograph, please sign up at GalaxyCon.com. And let's go ahead and roll another one. And here's one from Andy. Oh, have you ever suffered any on-set injuries?
Yes, many, but superficial.
Yeah.
Like lots of cuts on Highlander. Major injury on strangely enough, on everything but an action movie where I was playing a priest in a movie by Agnieszka Holland called To Kill a Priest, about this Polish priest, Populeczko. I just exploded my shoulder. My hands were tied at the back. I slipped and I fell, and all my shoulder went out.
Oof.
And I had 8 weeks of steel pins in the shoulder, plus education. So in a non-action movie.
Yeah. Huh. How ironic.
So yes. I had the first day of shooting of Subway, where Luc Besson told me, "You don't have to drive the car." I said, "No, I'm on the set. It's the first day of shooting. I want to drive the car. The problem is that I've got glasses, and I couldn't have glasses while I was doing the quote stunt." And I miscalculated the distance.
Ooh.
And I went straight into this steel barrier. And I went straight through the windshield. And that was the first day of a 20-week shoot.
The first day.
The first day.
Wow. Wow. Well, glad that. Oh my. All right. Yeah, you've taken your licks, haven't you?
Yeah, I like to participate.
Yeah, absolutely. Who wouldn't? Andy, very fun question. Thank you. What do we have next? And here's one from Kevin, who says that he loves The Hunted, as do I. Do you have any recollections of that film?
Yes, of course. Of course. I had a great time. I mean, we had a great time shooting in Canada. We had a great time shooting in Japan. And I was surrounded by great actors. So, no, I had fun. It was a tough movie because being wounded most of the movie is painful, not on a physical level because you're not real wound, but the way you have to act is difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. Very nice. Kevin, great question. Yeah, Kevin, I am with you. The Hunted is a fun one. What do we have next? From Desiree, which of your French language films would you recommend that our audience all seek out?
Max and Jeremy. Max and Jeremy is the story of a young guy who is meant to kill Max, who is played by Philippe Noiret, who is the biggest hitman in the world. But Max is, we can say that Max is kind of retarded. And he cannot kill Jeremy. Jeremy is kind of retarded. He cannot kill Max because Max becomes his best friend, his father, the father he never had, the best friend he never had, and he cannot kill him anymore. So there's this bonding, this relationship that that comes together. That's incredible, and it's one of my favorite French movies, if not the favorite.
Keep that in mind. Max and Jeremy, everybody seek that out. Desiree, thank you. Very nice question. I think we have time for one more, maybe two. Let's see what we got next. Here's one from Billy, and they want to know, which co-star do you feel like you had the most chemistry with?
Good question.
Because you've worked with really a huge cavalcade of talent.
Well, Sean Connery, definitely, with a great chemistry. Philippe Noiret in Max and Jeremy.
Yeah.
I would say these two.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
And Richard Anconina in Words and Music, who is one of my closest friends in this business.
Nice. Very nice. Billy, thank you. Very nice question. I think we have time for one more. Let's see if we can go out on a really fun one. Oh, that's the question. From Lee, who wants to know, what was the most fun project you've ever been involved in?
I would say Highlander, because of Russell Mulcahy's vision and visuals.
Yeah.
And his way of being. Russell is Australian, though again, is what you see is what you get. He's not pretending to be a director. He is a director.
Yeah.
He's not pretending to be a nice guy. He is a nice guy. And that's what I hate the most in this business is most of the time in the show business, people are trying to pretend. They take themselves seriously. And there's nothing serious except to do your job seriously. There's nothing serious about any business.
Yeah. Yeah, very much so. Lee, thank you. Wonderful question. And GalaxyCon viewers, this has been my time with Christopher Lambert, but it absolutely does not have to be yours. If you'd like to chat with our guests, like I have today, or purchase a personalized autograph, please head over to GalaxyCon.com. And while you're there, please check out our schedule of upcoming events just like this one. Christopher, this has been an absolute delight. Any final words for our audience before we go?
Just thank you to the audience. They've been great. And the questions were highly interesting. And I hope to see you soon.
I hope to look forward to that so much.
And thank you for being my host.
Oh, and thank you for being our guest. This has been an absolute delight. And good, Christopher, I am and remain a huge fan, and I'm so looking forward to all your future projects. Thank you for joining us on the GalaxyCon virtual stage. Thank you to our audience for joining us, and thank you for those fantastic questions. Hope to see you all again soon. Until then, bye-bye, everyone. Take care, and remember, smiles are free, so spend them often.
Bye.